Welcome to farming's future, where we dig up all the cool new tech that's changing how we grow food and all that. I'm Rex, and today, we're going to be looking at something that kind of threw me for a loop at first. Smart mirrors on farms. Yeah, you heard that right, but hold on. Before you picture rows of corn getting fashion tips, I promise it's way more interesting than that. And to help us break it all down, we've got Regina, our Agritech guru. So glad you could join us.
Thanks for having me, Rex. It really is amazing to see how tech and farming are coming together, and smart mirrors are right there leading the charge, I'd say.
I got to admit, when I first heard about smart mirrors out in the fields, I was like, huh. I mean, the ones I use are for, checking my hair. How could those help crops? But the more I dug into it, wow, this tech is a game changer. So, Regina, let's spill the beans. How are these mirrors shaking things up in agriculture?
Well, it all comes down to their ability to really analyze crops as they're growing using spectral imaging and AI. You could almost say it's like giving them superhuman vision. They can see things beyond what our eyes can pick up. By looking at specific wavelengths of light, they can spot tiny changes in plants, stuff we totally miss. It's amazing what they reveal about the plant's health and how it's doing overall. For example, by analyzing the near-infrared reflectance, these mirrors can pick out, if plants lacking nutrients or if there's a disease starting even before you can actually see it.
So it's like giving farmers a heads up before things go wrong so they can fix things before it affects how much food they grow.
Exactly, catching those problems early. In farming, that's huge. And smart mirrors, they bring a level of accuracy we've never seen before, so farmers can really target their efforts, adjust the watering, give them the right nutrients, get on top of pests, whatever it takes.
I see how that could save a lot of, crops and resources. It's all about getting the most out of everything, isn't it?
It really is. And one place this technology really shines is in greenhouses where, everything's got to be just so.
Now you've got me curious. How do these mirrors work in a greenhouse? It's already like a controlled environment, right?
Well, light is like the fuel for greenhouses, and smart mirrors, they become like master conductors. They kind of orchestrate how the light is spread around, making sure each plant gets enough. This means you need way less artificial light, like up to 40% less, which is a huge saving on energy costs, not to mention shrinking the greenhouse's carbon footprint.
So they're boosting the power of the sun
Yeah.
and cutting back on all those energy guzzling lights. That's good for the farmer's bottom line and good for the planet.
Absolutely. And it doesn't stop there. Smart mirrors have sensors too, keeping tabs on things like temperature and humidity. It's all about creating that Goldilocks zone for plants where everything's just right and they can really thrive.
All right, so we've seen how they help with keeping plants healthy and how they fit into greenhouses. But now let's talk about precision farming. I hear that term a lot. But I bet a lot of folks listening don't really know what it's all about.
Well, precision farming is all about using tech and data to manage every little thing about growing crops with incredible accuracy. And smart mirrors, oh, they're a big part of that revolution. Remember all that data they collect
Yeah.
about how healthy the plants are and the environment? Well, that's used to make a map of the field, a super detailed map that shows exactly which areas need what.
So instead of just treating the whole field the same way, farmers can zero in on certain spots. I guess that cuts down on waste too.
Exactly. Let's say the smart mirror sees some plants are low on nitrogen in one part of the field. Then the farmer can just add fertilizer right there in that specific area. So they use less overall and it doesn't run off into the water and stuff.
It's all about making the most of every drop of water, every bit of fertilizer, right? For the plants and for the environment.
Absolutely. And it's not just about conserving resources, it's about maximizing yields. When every plant gets exactly what it needs right when it needs it. Oh, farmers can boost their production significantly, and they're doing it while treading lightly on the planet.
It's pretty amazing how precise this all is.
Yeah.
But this is just scratching the surface of what smart mirrors can do. They're even being used to monitor livestock, which sounds totally futuristic to me.
It does sound like something out of Star Trek, doesn't it? But it's happening right now. Smart mirrors can track how healthy the animals are, how they're behaving, even their stress levels. It's like giving farmers a window into their well-being all the time.
So it's like a Fitbit for cows.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of things are these mirrors picking up, and how does it help the animals?
These mirrors, they're analyzing really subtle things, like the way an animal stands, how it moves, even tiny changes in its body heat.
Hmm.
These can be signs that something's wrong, even before it gets serious. So farmers can jump in, take care of any problems before they get worse. It's better for the animals and prevents losses for the farmer.
It's wild to think that something we started using for vanity could be used to keep farm animals healthy. What other surprising uses have they found for these mirrors in agriculture?
It's not just individual animals either. They're starting to use these mirrors in systems that look at like the whole herd or flock. Seeing how they move around together, how they interact. They can spot things like overcrowding or if the animals are stressed out, and the farmer can make changes to make their lives better.
So it's like keeping an eye on the whole mood of the herd, making sure they're not just physically okay, but mentally too.
Yeah, exactly. And think bigger. What if we had these mirrors all over a region collecting data? We could see trends in animal health, spot outbreaks before they get bad. It could change how we think about managing livestock.
That's amazing. They could help protect not just individual animals, but whole populations. But all this data, that brings up a big question. Data security. How do we know all that information about crop yields, about animals' health? How do we keep it safe from hackers and people who shouldn't have it?
Oh, that's a huge concern. The people developing these systems, they know it's important. We're talking strong cybersecurity, encryption, you know, making sure only the right people can get in, checking the systems all the time for weaknesses. Plus, we need clear rules about who owns the data, who can see it, stuff like that. So farmers are in control, and their info is only shared with people they trust.
So it's like layers of protection. The tech itself and the laws have to work together to keep things safe, but security is just one piece.
We got to think about the ethics of all this too. Like, what if the algorithms, the ones making decisions based on the data, what if they're biased? Some farms or some ways of doing things could end up getting favored, and that wouldn't be fair.
That's a really good point. Algorithm bias is a problem everywhere we use data, and farming's no different. We've got to be careful to design these algorithms so they're fair to everyone, train them on data from all kinds of farms, different ways of doing things. And we got to be open about how these algorithms work so farmers understand why certain decisions are made and can challenge them if something seems off. So it's not just about grabbing data and doing math with it. The whole process has to be fair. Everyone's treated the same and everything's out in the open. But let's switch gears a bit. What's next? What other cool stuff is coming down the pipeline for smart mirrors and agriculture?
Well, one thing that's got everyone excited is combining them with other cutting-edge technologies, like drones and robots. Imagine drones with special cameras flying over fields, taking super detailed pictures of the crops, and then all that info goes right to the smart mirror system.
So the mirrors get like a bird's eye view of the whole farm. They can see things from up high that you'd never catch from the ground.
Exactly. And combining that aerial data with what the mirrors see on the ground, man, that's a whole new level of understanding about those crops, how healthy they are, what they need, how they're growing, everything.
I can almost see it. The smart mirror looking at data from the ground and the sky, and it spots a part of the field that's too dry. So it sends a robot, one of those irrigation robots, right to that spot, and it gives those plants just the water they need without anyone having to lift a finger.
That's the future right there. It's not just about doing things more efficiently, it's about being smarter with our resources. Less water wasted, less fertilizer running off into the environment.
Like an orchestra, all these technologies playing together to make farming better, more productive, and easier on the planet.
That's a great way to put it. And that connection, it goes beyond just one farm. Think about a whole network of smart mirrors covering a whole region, sharing data, working together to create a sort of hive mind for agriculture.
So farmers could learn from each other, see what works best, adapt faster to problems.
Yeah. And researchers, people making policies, they could use that data too. It could help them figure out where to focus their efforts, how to make farming more sustainable.
Like a loop, The data from the mirrors feeds research, and then new tech and policies come out, and those help farmers get better, and it just keeps going, pushing things forward.
Exactly. It just shows you how powerful tech can be when you apply it to something like agriculture.
This has been amazing, Regina. It feels like the possibilities are endless. But even as we're diving into this high-tech future, we can't forget about the people.
Absolutely. Technology should help farmers, not push them out.
It should make their lives easier. Let them focus on the parts of farming that need that human touch, the creativity and intuition that only a person can bring.
It's all about balance, technology and tradition, data and experience working together.
I couldn't agree more. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some of the challenges and things to think about as smart mirrors become more common in agriculture. Welcome back to Farming's Future.
We're digging deeper into the world of smart mirrors in agriculture.
Regina, before we took a break, we were talking about how these mirrors can really change things, make farming more efficient, help the environment.
We were, and I think it's important to, remember that there will be bumps along the way, challenges to
Yeah,
overcome.
that's a good point. New technology, there's always something to figure out.
One of the biggest hurdles right now is accessibility. The tech's getting cheaper, but it's still a big investment,
Yeah.
especially for smaller farms or places where, money's tight.
So how do we make sure everyone can benefit from this? Not just the big players.
Well, we need people working together, governments, researchers, private companies, maybe grants, subsidies, to help those smaller farms get access.
What about like rent-to-own programs? Or maybe farms sharing the cost, things like that?
Exactly. And we can't forget about the digital divide. Not every farmer has good internet access or the skills to use these systems. So we need training programs, places where they can learn, get comfortable with the technology.
It's got to be like a support system.
Good.
Everyone gets the knowledge and resources they need to really make the most of this tech revolution.
Right. And through all this, we can't lose sight of the human element. Farmers, their expertise, that can't be replaced. Technology should be a tool to help them, not push them aside.
That's so important. It's about helping farmers, not making them obsolete.
And that leads to another thing we need to think about, jobs. As these technologies do more of the work, there are going to be changes in the kinds of jobs out there.
So how do we make that a smooth transition?
Right.
Make sure people have the skills they need to succeed in this new landscape.
Education is key. We've got to invest in programs that teach people the skills for the future. Things like how to analyze data, how to work with robots, all that precision agriculture stuff.
What about programs to help people already working on farms to learn new skills so they can keep doing what they love, just in a different way?
Exactly. It's all about adapting, embracing the new opportunities while making sure no one gets left behind.
Regina, this has been incredible. It feels like we've barely scratched the surface, but it's clear these smart mirrors, they're really shaking things up in agriculture.
It has been fascinating, Rex. I hope everyone listening has a better sense of just how powerful this technology is and all the amazing things it can do.
Me too. And as we wrap up this episode of Farming's Future, I want everyone to remember this. Technology is awesome, but it's only as good as the people using it.
It's about making a better system for everyone, more sustainable, more fair, a system where everyone benefits, farmers and consumers alike.
And as we move towards this exciting future of farming, let's not forget that real progress isn't just about shiny new tech. It's about people working together, sharing knowledge, and never losing sight of the human element.
Well said, Rex. Regina, thanks again for all your insights. To everyone listening, we hope this episode has you thinking about the future of food and how technology can help us create a better, more sustainable world. And until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and stay hungry for knowledge.